Good morning, grade 7. How are you today, Miss? Today we will speak about solving multi-step equations on page 94. Now you know that before this we start by solving equations, one-step equations, in actually using the inverse operations once. Then we go to solving two-step equations by using the inverse operation twice. Now in this lesson we may have more steps than two steps, maybe three or maybe four, according actually to the equation itself, the situation we have. Okay, now and the form of the equation. So let's start the lesson, and before we go, let's revise together the meaning of multi-step equations. Now, as we solved before, we said that some of the equations can be solved in one or two steps, like the equations here. We can solve this for x plus 2 equals 10. We can solve it in two steps, actually. We have first to subtract 2. This is the using inverse operation once. Then use it twice by divide both sides by 4. Okay, and even in this equation, we have to, to use the inverse operation twice, right? First by adding 5 to both sides, then by dividing by 2 both sides. Now when do I have to use multi-step equations, or what are multi-step equations? Actually, multi-step equation is an equation whose solution or which solution requires more than two steps. Okay, more than two steps. Like equations when we have the same, variable in both sides. Okay, not in one term only, no, or in two terms in one side, or actually when we have the parentheses. If we have parentheses, you will know immediately that you have to make many steps or multi-steps to solve your equation. Now, for example, you can some of the examples when the variables are in the same side. You may have x in the same side, but you can see that we have more than one term that having x, right? Or a variable present on both sides. You can see, okay. We have the terms that has variable x in both sides, or when we have parentheses, this we have to use multi-equations. Now, how to solve multi-step equations? Actually, we have steps, okay? The first step, as you can see here, is by complete any distributive property. If you have distributive property, you have to get rid of the parentheses. You have to remove the parentheses by multiplying the factor outside the parentheses with the both terms inside it. So it will be here, for example, 4x plus 8 minus 10. And here it will be 2x plus 8. So this is the first step. The second step, by combining the like terms. Okay, I have 4x here and I have 2x in the other side. I have to combine them to have one term with one variable. Okay, and even the constants. Okay, now, so as you can see here, now I find out in step 3, combine like terms, then move all the variables to one side and constants to the other sides. Well, how is that? Actually by making the inverse operation. How to make or keep the x variables in one side and all of the terms that have constants or numbers in the other sides by making the inverse operation. And the last one is solve for the variable. Solving for the variable will include the last step, which means making the inverse operation for the last time. Here, for example, I have to divide the fourth step here. I have to divide by 2 to get variable, the value of variable x. Now, let's practice together. I want you now to practice solving multi-equations here, multi-step equations, by looking at these exercises and try to solve them, and then go to the book, please, and try to solve exercises from the book. And please, I want you beside the book to solve these equations here from 1 to 10 and try to send them to me by email as I gave it to you. And don't forget grade 7 to study for your quiz for 15 minutes tomorrow morning in our class. Okay, see you tomorrow, grade 7, and have a nice day.